some sense. Gunshots under a stormy night and lightning dance. So hitting the drum floor of praise beat.
Welcome back, Full Heel Podcast Army. I am your host, your faithful leader, your president, Rafael Chaires. Joining me today, my buddy, Ryan Dempsey.
I was going to say your president. I thought I was sitting down with Joe Biden and I was in for another screw job like 23 years later. Fucking, don't do me like that, man.
What? Where am I? Who am I?
How you doing today, Raph?
I'm doing pretty awesome. Can't complain. I'm alive. And we get to talk wrestling. So
fucking right. As I did mention, on the 23rd anniversary of the Montreal Screwjob, which may or may not have been a work, still debated to this day.
Yeah, and go ahead and check out mine and Ryan's his debut on the Full Heel Podcast 3 years ago. We covered the Montreal Screwjob, so go ahead and check that out.
Yeah, it was can't believe. Yeah, it was funny because I jumped on for the 20-year anniversary of the Screwjob, and wild to think that was already 3 years ago. And time flies when you're having fun, right?
Yeah, you were telling me right now, and I felt like a big jerk because I'm like, God damn, I didn't even realize it.
I didn't realize it. You know what? The only reason I thought about it was because today being the anniversary made me like I remember that was the first time I jumped on, so it made me go back like through the catalog and see the date. And to see that it was 3 years next week, I was like, fuck, there's no way I've been talking to Raph about wrestling for 3 years already, but there it is. There it is.
True.
It's damn true.
Yeah. Sorry I don't remember, Ryan. There's a lot on the plate of the CEO of the Full Heel Podcast.
Never mind. I didn't even remember. Like Frankie.
Yeah, Frankie didn't even remember. I had and the only reason I remembered was because Facebook was like, hey, it's been a year since you uploaded this one. And I'm like, oh, fuck, shit. And I let these guys know. I'm like, hey, just so you know, it's been a year. But yeah, so here's to another one for football on Full Heel, and here's to many more, Ryan.
Salute, my friend.
Yes.
Cheers.
Monster. But yeah, today we are here to talk about Survivor Series 1998. I think it is the 12th annual Survivor Series of its kind, but they're differing off the... Well, before we get into it, how's your week been, Ryan? What did we do last? NXT?
Yeah, last week we did the NXT. I lost you. Or I lost your camera there.
All right, cool.
Yeah, we did the Halloween Havoc, kind of wrapped up our October, I guess, look back at some Halloween Havocs with the NXT one. And yeah, I guess we're hopefully going to be able to do up some Survivor Series for November. I've been spending much of my week. I filled in some of my blanks that I wasn't too sure about because we started talking like this period of wrestling there back in September, I want to say.
Yeah.
We did breakdown in a couple of Raws, and this is like the culmination of that story with the No Champion. So I went back and I watched Judgment Day, where Austin was fired and still no champ, and Shane hires him back, which gets mentioned throughout this pay-per-view. So Shane's on Team Austin, and like The Rock has kind of taken over the Austin role of being McMahon's whipping boy. So I kind of spent the week filling in some blanks getting rid of his pay-per-view because I'm pretty well versed in his pay-per-view, but going back and watching some of those Raws leading into it, like this pay-per-view, man, like I told you earlier today, it was on point, top to bottom. Like the stories that were told at this pay-per-view, the stories that were wrapped up, were fantastic, man. Like I spent a lot of my free time doing that.
Yeah, well, like you mentioned, we had done a couple of episodes, well, not more than a couple, leading up to this, some Raw, some watch-alongs. Pretty sure we have done the Survivor Series, Austin versus Undertaker. I remember the poster. They're fighting each other.
Yeah, where they're fighting with in New York. Yeah, one that has like I guess over the Trade Center, and one of them had the Statue of Liberty, or
yeah. I guess
so.
I guess we should give the people a quick breakdown because we took a week off and then we broke down NXT Halloween Havoc. So it's been it's been 2 weeks since we've revisited this storyline, and we're just gonna skip ahead to Survivor Series. But let's cue him in, I guess, on what's been happening. So we had the whole Dr. Austin thing, right? So
Yeah, I think that's where we left off was the Dr. Austin.
okay, so before that, the pay-per-view was a Breakthrough, where
Breakdown.
Breakdown.
Breakdown in the house.
with Kane and Undertaker chokeslamming Austin. Austin gets pinned by both of them, and we have no champion really because they both pinned them. So Mr. McMahon leads with the title. The next day, he's there to present the title to somebody. They're having a big ceremony with Undertaker and Kane in the ring.
And this is such a fun moment. I think me and you fucking marked out hard.
Yeah. So Austin, at the end of the episode, drives in the Zamboni and jumps and attacks Mr. McMahon. And the cops arrest Austin. It's the famous scene where Austin gets arrested and he's fucking taken out by the cops after he beats the shit out of McMahon. The blow-up doll gets thrown in the ring. All the craziness is happening. But Kane and Undertaker don't seem to care, and they're not doing anything about it. They're not protecting Mr. McMahon. They're kind of just there. So I don't know if it was on Raw the next day or whatever. No, that was Raw actually.
Yeah, that was Raw. Yeah, because they were basically just like they just one of them wanted the belt at Day's End, right? And
so actually it was right then and there, right?
It was after. Yeah, it was like a commercial break, and when they came back, McMahon tells them that they're going to fight each other for the title, and they get kind of pissed off, and they turn around, and he flips them off.
Oh yeah,
They turn around, and he's got the birds up, and the McMahon sells it beautifully, and yeah, that's where the attack comes, and they break his ankle with the stairs.
Yeah, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think we commented on the angling that they shot it on to make it look like his foot really did get crushed there. You know, obviously
a little bit crazy, but you know,
yeah, like kayfabe. Obviously, you know, those stairs aren't like the 3,000 pounds, like, you know, Gorilla Monsoon used to say and shit. But I mean, you still, if you have that thing dropped on your foot, it's gonna fuck you up. And you can see that they completely missed him from one angle, but the way that they shot it, it looked like they legitimately crushed his ankle. And the next week was the Dr. Austin, because now he's in the hospital with Mankind trying to cheer him up with the clown, and Mr. Socko makes his debut and all that.
Yeah, so I didn't go back and watch the Raws in between this, but I think so 2 Raws before this pay-per-view, because do they have a pay-per-view in between this? No, right? Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they had Judgment Day.
Yeah, they have Judgment
Day. So
Kane versus Undertaker for the belt, right?
And Austin was the ref, and Austin had to call it down the middle
and raise the hand of the winner.
And there had to be a winner, or Austin would be fired if he didn't do his job properly. And what is it?
I think he just stuns both of them, right? He just beats the shit out of them, and that's
Taker hits Kane with a chair, goes to the pin. Austin doesn't do anything. Austin hits Taker with the stunner, and then uses both his hands in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, and declares himself the winner. And McMahon comes out, fires him, which leads to one of the best segments also in this McMahon-Austin rivalry, when McMahon gets kidnapped kind of by Austin.
Okay.
And it culminates with Austin in his hunting gear with the gun.
And it goes bang.
Yeah, McMahon's on his knees in the middle of the ring, and he pulls his bang 316, and then he looks down, and McMahon pisses himself. You know, Vince or McMahon 316 says, "I just pissed my pants." Like, yeah, and Shane McMahon, like I mentioned, gives Austin that new 5-year contract, so now he can continue to raise hell.
He also in one of these Raws, one of these upcoming Raws, not the one before it, but he fills McMahon's car up with cement.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it destroys one of McMahon's cars. Like, And that's a one taker. You can't you don't get too many chances to do that, right? If you fuck that one up, it's okay. Well, we're gonna have to move on to a different idea.
Yeah. So let's see. So yeah, it's all culminating up until this tournament, and so The Rock also loses his number one contendership because The Rock won it at that pay per view we saw. So
That's right.
McMahon's kind of turning on The Rock as well. That's the storyline we're getting. He's turning on The Rock, and what's happening is he's not warming up to Mick, but he's trying to he's favoring Mick and kind of like, just stay off, Mick. Here's the hardcore title, and he awards him the hardcore title like 2 weeks before this pay per view.
Yeah, he kind of he has Boss Man with him. He's got Shamrock with him. He doesn't want The Rock to win. He wants to prevent that from happening. He obviously despises Austin, so he kind of sees Mankind as like, you know what? It's just another card in my hand that I can play if I need to, kind of deal.
Yeah, and he kind of mentions to Mankind that he's kind of like the son that he's never had, because Shane's a referee. He's made Shane. I don't know if he demoted Shane to a referee.
Yeah, because he demoted Shane because of the whole Austin
a contract.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it was funny because like Austin was given that contract because that was how, like, I think Shane said, I'll give you a new deal. Don't shoot my father. Right. So so it was all put, but then, and Vince being made to look the fool took it out on Shane by demoting him. And they even pointed it out on the pay-per-view when you see Shane as the referee, like Jim Ross makes sure to make mention that, yeah, that's Shane refereeing.
Yeah, that's Shane refereeing. And Vince did it for a reason, and he starts calling, or he tells Mankind he's like the son he never had. So this leads to Mankind's deranged, perfect, awesome character. He starts calling Mr. McMahon Dad.
Yeah, that was I love it. Yeah, and he does it. So he's like, Dad.
Yeah,
like he's like so like Mankind's promos we've talked about in the past are so fantastic, and having him substitute Mr. McMahon with Dad in his promos took it to another level.
Yeah,
like you really believed him and everything that he was selling at this point in time.
It was still the deranged Mankind we wanted, but just the heel, or sorry, face. It wasn't the.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
This stopped me from sending a tweet. I was trying to tweet this out. Yeah, no, but it's still the deranged, but it's lovable Mankind, and
yeah, like the Mr. Sacco thing. Like, he's a bad guy technically. He's a heel. People like him because earlier this year he went flying off the Hell in a Cell. So like he's all of a sudden he's like one of those like heels that you kind of cheer for because he entertains you, and he's not a heel in the sense that he's a heel, if that makes sense, And then when he takes the mandible claw, which was always used as described as this horrific, paralyzing move, he now does it with a sock puppet. So all of a sudden, like, even his finishing maneuvers, like this weird, cute thing. Like, it's they have him come up with bow ties on, and they do such a good job with transforming his character, leading into this pay-per-view. And obviously, for those who are well versed in this era know what's going to be coming in the next few months for Mankind and Mick Foley and all that. This is really the stepping stone to like bigger and better things for him.
Yeah. So now that you mentioned they were changing him and stuff, so they actually, Mr. McMahon actually puts a tux on him, shaves his beard, combs his hair back in a ponytail, and he's all suited out. And even the week before this is when they're doing all that. They have the segments where they're giving him a manicure, they're shaving his beard, and they're dressing him. And he just wants to be the champion McMahon wants, and that's what McMahon's pretty much trying to groom him to be.
Yeah, because McMahon's looking for the corporate champion.
Yeah, the corporate champion.
That's basically what he's looking for. He wants to be someone that represents the company, and that's why. Yeah, and and it's like, yeah, like you said, they're transforming. Like he's clean shaven, his hair's done nice. He's no longer wearing ratty clothes. They even made mention on this pay per view about the shoes that he's wearing in one match, and they comment how he switched to the boots for a different one.
Yeah.
So they did really go to tell the story that he's gone corporate. He's joined McMahon full throttle. Like they're going to the top together. Austin's by himself. The Rock no longer has the Nation, so he's by himself. So really, like McMahon's got Mankind, who has the full backing of McMahon, going against The Rock with no one, Austin with no one, and Kane the Undertaker, who are hell bent on destroying each other. So you don't know when you can trust one or the other of those two.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know. Skype's telling me all this different stuff. Am I good on you?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Fucking Skype.
Fucking Skype. Get your act together.
Yeah.
They're trying to swerve you.
They're trying to hit me with the swerve.
It's the swerve, bro.
Let's see. Anyone that we're missing? Triple H is injured, so he's not going to be on this pay-per-view.
No. He has to fight The Rock in the first round matchup.
Oh, yeah, sorry. He's supposed to be here. Well, Mr. McMahon is... even on the Raw before this, he was hinting that if he wasn't going to be there, there was going to be consequences for him missing the match. So yeah, he's facing The Rock in the first. Forget what I said. Go back and forget what I said.
Well, and I mean, it should be noted too, like that Shamrock is the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
And for those that remember, Triple H won the title at SummerSlam. At Breakdown, which we covered, he came out in the wheelchair because he had the messed up knee.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so obviously, like in this time frame that we were covering to the era, like the month and a bit that we didn't talk about, he was stripped and Shamrock ended up winning the title.
Yeah.
One thing actually I want to talk about, a fun match for people to go back and look at is in Judgment Day, Mankind versus Ken Shamrock, to see whose finisher is more lethal, the ankle lock or the mandible claw. I don't know if you're familiar with the matchup or not, but it's got a pretty fun ending, man. And
no, I should probably go back and check that out.
I won't spoil it, but for your listeners there, I recommend going back and watching the Judgment Day Mankind versus Ken Shamrock for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, leading up to this, we're gonna have Kane versus the Undertaker, but Kane tried to kill the Brood and Gangrel, didn't he? He tried to light them on fire.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
He was stopped leading up to this. Yeah, we just have a bunch of crazy shit leading up.
And
to
these are all storylines that like are going to culminate so much in these upcoming months. The Brood is now kind of like aligning kind of with Undertaker. Paul Bearer and Kane are kind of on the outs, and Paul Bearer might be working with the Undertaker. So you're getting the birth of the Ministry kind of set up, like the corporation is all but perfect. They just need the championship in their stable to be full throttle. You know what I mean? Like Attitude Era is going hard in the paint right now.
Yeah, and I guess we're gonna jump into the pay-per-view, but before we do that, let me take a quick look at what WCW is doing in November 1998.
November 98, you're going to be what? So DDP would have DDP would have just lost to Goldberg at Halloween Havoc. So Kevin Nash is going to win World War III and go to Starrcade to fight Goldberg, right?
Yes, for the Finger Poke of Doom at the next pay-per-view.
No.
Or the next
No, it's the Taser.
Sorry. The next pay-per-view he wins by the Taser, and then the Nitro after he Hogan finger pokes at Doom him into death.
And then the NWO goes up to the sky, and
very shortly after that, they kind of just forget about the NWO.
That's what I mean. No, that's what I mean. Like, the NWO dies right there.
Mm-hmm.
Finger Poke of Doom, no matter what you say, anything that happens with the NWO, from the Finger Poke of Doom to NWO 2000 to the WWE or WWF, whatever it was at the time, run, that is not NWO.
After the Finger Poke of Doom, I think like a pay-per-view or two after, Hogan comes out in the yellow and red again to face Ric Flair. So,
Yeah.
it,
It was like their last ditch effort
mhm.
to try something, and it just
It died, and then like '99, they kind of forgot about it. The whole
like
of
didn't they
99.
like if I might be mistaken, but wasn't like that after the thing we were doing? Wasn't the NWO logo was like red, white, and black? They kind of put all three together, but it almost had like the Japanese flag, like the rising sun, kind of white and red going out of the NWO.
I don't remember
Like
that one. I remember the Hogan
I remember
splitting. I remember Hogan splitting it down the mid. Like he had NW, or like, and then half of that W was red, and then half of the W was
I
white.
just remember. Oh, yeah, I remember that for sure. I remember I just vividly remember this one T-shirt, and I remember seeing it like on a Nitro, and just been like, no. It's like you're
Yeah,
done.
no, and I'm telling you, they ditched after that because Hall is done. He's either drunk or hurt, so he's out of there for a while. Nash, I think, carries on the Wolfpack one, but kind of just drops it after a while too. The
Yeah.
NWO White is fighting between themselves, and they kind of just drop it too, and they all go their separate ways until NWO 2000,
Ugh.
which I hate
Which
mentioning.
which
We'll have to cover one day.
oh, okay, yeah, here I found the logo that I was talking about. I'll send it to you. Well, I think it was used very poorly on a shirt at some point in time, but it was basically like this.
Let me see real quick.
It was something like that, where it had like that red, white, with the NWO wasn't written in black.
Okay.
I
an
just
umbrella?
remember,
Like the
I
umbrella
remember seeing something like that on a shirt once, and just ugh. They tried way too hard at this point in time. Like they were drowning in the ratings. Like
Quick
Raw-
rundown. I didn't watch the pay-per-view. I'll just give you the matches real quick. That way we can see what we're up against.
for
Ra-
World War III.
Yeah, Wrath and Glacier opening up the match. Second match, Stevie Ray with Vincent taking on Conan. Third match, Ernest the Cat Miller taking on Sonny Ono taking on Perry Saturn, or defeating Perry Saturn. And Kaz Hayasai. Billy Kidman.
Hayushi.
Yeah, there we go. WCW Cruiserweight Championship match. Billy Kidman taking on Juventud Guerrera. Billy Kidman wins, retains the
I
championship.
said that name, no problem.
And it's not Guerrero, it's Guerrera. Rick Steiner versus Scott Steiner with Buff Bagwell. Ended in a no contest. Chris Jericho with Ralphus defeated Bobby Duncan Jr. for the.
Yep.
I guess he retained the television title. Kevin Nash won the 60-man World War III match, so that'll earn him a title shot at the next pay-per-view. And Diamond Dallas Page defeats Bret Hart for the United States Championship.
Rough couple of Novembers for Bret Hart there from 97, 98.
Yeah. I forget Bret Hart was there from 97. That's so early on. But
Yeah.
let's
I think he took like a month off before he made that jump.
okay, only a month, damn.
I think I want to say he was there for January 98. I want to say like he only probably missed like December. But
All right, so let's get into this pay-per-view. Survivor Series 1998, like we mentioned earlier in the podcast, they ditched the 5-on-5 tournament or the tag team matches where it was 5-on-5.
I like though that they did call. I think they called it the winner at a couple times, but they do mention the survivor of the match advances or something along like. I feel like they said it once or twice before forgetting to mention it again, but they did kind of acknowledge that to become the champion, you have to survive the night, kind of deal.
What's the name of the tournament again?
Deadly
The
Games.
Deadly Games tournament, and on the skull it says Deadly Games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have a nice, they have a cool skull with like a nice little design on it, and it says Deadly Games.
Had their own theme song for it too.
Oh, thanks a lot for bringing up that shitty theme song. It sucked.
Man, I've had that theme song stuck in my head for 22 years now. Like I don't know why. Like that song, I remember when I first heard it, it's been in my head. Like if I think of Survivor Series, I think of that song. Like I don't Don't know why.
It doesn't match to the theme of this Survivor Series. Maybe if it was a regular Survivor Series, I would have liked it. But then
Or even it's almost even like
the tune of the song.
It's
too cartoonish.
It's cartoony enough to be mid-90s. It should have been a little more hard rock
Because
for this era.
Yeah, for this era and for these matches, especially with the tournament's going to whittle down to you. It's the heavy hitters of the 90s or the late 90s too. So
yeah,
it seemed a little cartoony and maybe still developing in that department, but
it was kind of cool to get that they got their own little theme song.
Yeah,
I'll give them that. And again, like to have like again, was it the Crunch Bar? I think we talked about it on the Halloween Havocs that they had their Slim Jim sponsorship. Like you see, like these big name companies are sponsoring wrestling at this point in time. Like Nestle is straight up buying advertising, like on WWE programming at the time.
Now that you mention it, I was listening to something to wrestle with. Conrad mentioned that Raw was getting a 5.0, or for this one at least, for the Raw before this pay-per-view. Raw got a 5.0 and Nitro got like a 4 point something. So you were getting close to 10 million fans.
And that's just from like the Nielsen box families. That doesn't count everybody else, and that doesn't include people in Canada. That doesn't include people overseas watching it delayed.
I missed a lot of them. I didn't have cable. I would have to wait to go to my sister's house and sleep over, especially over the summer. Or my my godfather, which lived in this room before he moved out. He had cable, but when he wasn't here, he would let me watch wrestling.
Okay.
So I would miss a lot of it. So there was a lot of fans. That was a ton of fun.
And that's the thing. Like people say like WWE's product sucks and look at their ratings, but what happened then won't happen again. Like it's gonna take something astronomical to get what we had. I mean, I remember like I was playing the WWE 13 game, and this Attitude Era is the storyline, and it shows you the ratings tracker. And I think it's by WrestleMania 1998, Raw's doing almost a 7, and Nitro's doing like a 4 point something.
Damn,
but you got to think
if
7 million.
Think about it, SmackDown's debut episode was 4 million, or I think close to 4 million, 3.8 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's lost like 2.8. It's only like at a million, sometimes 1.2, 1.4, maybe at its highest.
Mm-hmm.
And where did all those fans go? They were there because the war was starting. Same thing with AEW. They lost like 1 million fans, like from their debut episode to what it is now, which is
like people talk about AEW, and don't get me wrong, their ratings are strong. They're not that the ratings are strong, but the ratings are consistent, and that's a bigger tell. If you have consistent ratings, then you're doing something right.
Yeah.
You don't have to have, if you get like a spike of 3 million for 2 weeks and then you down to like 500,000, you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? So when they hit 1 million, that was big, because that's meaning that they're maintaining something. They're not plateauing. They're not dipping down. They're holding steady, and then they're doing something that draws in eyes 1 week here, but then when it goes down, it only loses maybe 100,000, which isn't that terrible, all things considered.
Yeah, it just, if they would have been able to retain their debut episode numbers, same thing with SmackDown, they would be in so much better position. They'd have like 1.4, 1.5 consistently. Imagine that, just consistent ratings.
So what you're saying is we need to have blood, beer, and boobs every Monday night, every Wednesday night, and every Friday night.
Yep.
That's it. The three B's of wrestling, right?
Yep.
Beer, blood, and boobs. Yep. We're good to go.
We need another Austin, Hangman Page. We need a bunch of blood, John Moxley.
I was going to say, we already have our poor man's Austin. We have John Moxley.
He was compared to Austin. I wouldn't.
I feel like that comment was taken out of context. Yeah. When I first read the headline, I was like, oh, that's pretty big. But then when you read what was actually said, it makes a lot more sense. He's not saying that he is Austin. He's saying that
In this era, if you were to
in this,
choose, if you were to try to pick one,
yeah, in this era, who would you say? And he's right. Like John Mox, I love Dean Ambrose. Like I was pissed off when he left because he's a guy that I wish got a better push over a guy. Roman Reigns now is obviously turned the page a bit, but I would have been like, I wanted Ambrose to have this kind of run that he's getting now in AEW. So,
he retained. By the way, I didn't watch the pay-per-view this weekend, but he retained against Kingston in a I Quit match.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Um,
And I think they said that Darby Allin is
yeah, he's TNT
he's the
television
first
champion.
he's the first non WWE champion in AEW history. Everyone that has won a singles title, I think it was in AEW, was a former competitor for WWE.
False. The women.
Male.
I know. Okay, I'll give you the male one, but the women.
As I think it was the tag team and the women were whatever, but the male singles competitors were all former WWE champions
Oh, I guess the tag
or
team too. I didn't think about
competitors.
that, yeah.
But yeah, so good for them, I guess.
Yeah. Darby Allin's definitely a favorite of the fans.
I just feel like the TNT Championship though is already being sullied as the way it's just being traded back and forth so quickly. It's not really getting the chance to like have like a solid run yet, which I feel like they should, if they want to have a secondary title, just maybe really make sure that you're using it up properly. But
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It shouldn't be switching hands as many, especially if it's. I don't. Maybe this just means they're not going to take it off of Moxley for even longer. Maybe they're fine with
Yeah.
Moxley being their top guy.
like, then I get that it is the TV title, but if it's the TV title, like then you need like an Intercontinental or a US. You need like a strong secondary, and then treat the TV title or the TNT title like it's like the European title was back in the day.
Yeah. Well, that secondary show is talked about even more, and I think it actually got greenlit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had the article up on accident and closed it out right now by accident. But I think they might get another hour-long show, which would mean that they should add another title. And they are working very closely with NWA. I don't know if you've seen that. They've had their
Yeah, I
NWA
have. Yeah,
women's
they had,
title on there.
and we've actually talked about that Serena, was it Deeb, the NWA Women's Champion that defended on AEW a week or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
She was the bald girl from CM Punk's thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
'Cause I remember we were talking about like whatever happened to her, and now here she is.
Mm-hmm. So maybe they'll bring over titles just to use as, titles from if they're working with New Japan, I can see how they can start working with New Japan if New Japan wanted to.
Yeah.
Maybe that U.S. title be defended over here. Would give it a little bit more significance if it's defending the United States and United States territory. It is a United States title, for God's sakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kenny Omega is looking to go for the title. He beat Hangman Page to finish the tournament off. So he's number one contender. We'll see what happens there. Like you mentioned, Young Bucks won the title, or I don't think you mentioned it. Young Bucks won the titles against
The Revival.
Yeah, FTR. Fuck the Revival. Let's see.
Which
what
is
else.
funny because I was reading an article earlier today that they're not happy with AEW.
Mhm.
They're not happy with the story buildup that they had with the Young Bucks, and they are already contemplating leaving AEW.
Mhm.
Which it's like, were they treated poorly in WWE? Maybe. They did win NXT, SmackDown, and Raw tag titles, but they weren't necessarily promoted and pushed as much as a team would want.
Yeah.
Which is the tag division in WWE for years now. But now you go to AEW and you're shitting on WWE for the better part of 3 months, and you're already saying that you want out because you're not being promoted right. It's like there's nothing left for you to do. I mean, at least Gallows and Anderson went to Impact, and they seem to be
Yeah.
having a fun, and they're having a fine time. They're doing like a great story with them right now.
Jesus is telling me to watch more Impact. Watch more Impact. I gave him a mixer because I had a mixer that I bought back in the day that I never
You got a
used.
mixer?
Yeah, I gave him a mixer, and he bought a mic, and he's supposed to be doing breakdowns and selling it to me, so I could put him on the network of him doing breakdowns of Impact. So we'll see how that goes. But
Nice.
he's trying to get me to watch it. He says there's really good storylines.
I've
and
been
there's people
hearing
I
great
know.
things about Impact
Uh-huh.
myself, and especially like I've been kind of reading more about it because of the Anderson Gallows story. Like then and I've been a fan of theirs for a while now, so I wanted to see what they were up to over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know, man. Like the Revival's got to figure something out, because if they just keep on being like these little, if they keep on bitching everywhere they go, eventually they're just going to be working the indie scenes, and that's going to be it for them.
Well, if they're not happy here, where are they going after here? There's nowhere. New Japan.
New Japan,
That's the only spot
Well,
they have left. That's a big time where they can get some money.
go to New Japan,
Or Impact. I'm
and
sorry, Impact. I need to start taking Impact serious.
yeah, but it's like like there's not a whole lot left if they don't if AEW is giving them this much trouble that they claim. And again, this is like an article that I've read. It doesn't necessarily mean it's 100% true, but if they're unhappy with AEW this quickly, then maybe that they should be looking in the mirror at what the real problem is, you know?
Yeah, because to be honest, AEW has the strongest tag team wrestling. WWE
Yeah.
does not treat their fucking tag teams with any respect.
WWE has some fantastic tag teams, but they don't work with them.
Nope. They have pretty much the same vibe and same energy as Raw's tag team champions and SmackDown tag team champions. They have the same thing on both shows.
Yeah.
It's
That-
Kofi Kingston and Xavier
Xavier
Woods.
Woods.
Two black guys, uppity, dancing, super face. And then on the other show, you have two guys with cups, and they're super party orientated, super hype, and super face. It's
Yep.
it's the same thing on each brand.
Yeah, it is.
And
And then they were
they
talking
had
about
them
how
trade belts.
yeah, and they were talking about like maybe unifying them at one point there with Shinsuke and Cesaro there before the draft and everything like that. It's just like it's funny because people get behind the teams
Mhm.
and they get behind the characters and they get behind all that stuff. So it allows WWE to not really have to do a lot of work with them, which sucks. Because if people weren't behind the teams and weren't buying the merch, and these people were to stand up and say that they want more depth to the division, then they might actually have to do some work in the creative.
Yeah.
But because they don't have to do work on the creative, people just keep on buying into it.
Mhm.
I've had it.
I'm sorry, but I don't like the Street Profits, and I think Montez Ford would work as a singles competitor. I think his tag team is what's his name? Hawkins, D'Angelo Hawkins.
Yeah.
I think he's holding him back, and I don't mean to fucking sound like a negative asshole, but to be honest, like I said, I think Ford can go further ahead. I think he's super athletic, maybe too athletic if that's a thing.
He's almost like what Shelton Benjamin was
Yeah.
15 odd years ago, give or take.
Dude, I can see this guy with a Intercontinental Championship, a United States Championship. I can see you build him up. I can see you give him a character besides just being a loud guy.
He's the Shawn Michaels kind of the Street Profits.
Yep, he would break. He's the one being held back.
Yep.
And New Day, you gave Kofi a championship. Awesome. Now he's back in the tag team picture. Woods, I don't know how much faith they have in Woods. I know they like putting the tag team championship on him.
I feel like he's just one of those guys that the fans like, so they keep on signing him to a new contract and they give him the tag team belt just because someone has to have it kind of deal. Like that's what New Day almost felt like. Either
Yeah.
Big E and Kofi, or Big E and Woods, or Kofi and Woods have the title at some point in time, just because it's like, well, no one else wants the belt, so you get it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Big E's going to get a title run, maybe even a character change. I don't know.
Yeah, like, And it's funny too because Vince McMahon in the past was notorious for really jobbing out the black wrestlers, and now you have guys like Woods, you got Kofi, you got Big E, you got the Hurt Business, you got the Street Profits, you got all these guys that you can't deny right now. Keith Lee, like eventually, like Vince is gonna have to start like he's gonna like the whole history of WWE and having like predominantly white pushed guys is gonna that script's gonna flip really soon because it has to because they have too much talent that's being wasted right now.
Well, yeah. Well, let's start treating these championships like championships and start treating them seriously. Like in this era, we had our top guys vying for the championship, and we had a lot of top guys. Even in this tournament, we had champions. We had the Intercontinental Champion, we had the European Champion, we had the Hardcore Champion in this tournament. But they all kind of had their own separate storylines behind this leading up until the Survivor Series. WWE sometimes seems like they just throw shit against the wall and hope it sticks, and a lot of times it doesn't.
Well, that was the beautiful thing about this era was that in the late 90s, you had everyone had a storyline. And there were so many storylines that you could go a week or two without seeing a guy and forgetting about the storyline, and then they pop back up and you remember. Or you would get, like on the Raws that we've watched, you would get 12 matches. And some of them might be 4-minute matches, but you're getting continuous story. Now you don't have that anymore.
Yeah. And to be fair, they're starting to do it a lot more. They're starting to do it with the Hurt Business. They're putting together good storylines with Roman and his cousin and his family line. Yep. The Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss one is kind of getting corny. I'm still into it. I just wish that they have something there, and if they took it a little bit more serious and they went dark with it, I think they're on the right path.
Yeah, someone compared it to Joker and Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, oh, it is kind of comic booky. And I don't know how much I'm going to buy into it. Like, I think you had mentioned Alexa Bliss getting like a mask maybe.
Yeah.
Like if they were smart, do what they did with The Fiend and Bray Wyatt, do something like that with Bliss.
And have her wrestle. I don't think she's wrestled.
She's been in the ring. And the Fiend,
moves, right?
and well, she was in the ring, but the Fiend destroyed Retribution, and that was it.
Yeah,
I think that's the only time.
Let's have her wrestle as Fiend, fucking Alexa Bliss. Let's do it. I don't know why. Maybe she's hurt. I don't know. No, but I don't think she's hurt. I think they did.
I don't think she's hurt. I haven't heard anything, and I haven't seen anything yet.
I think the storyline is because it's a good storyline. I think that's why they're doing it.
Yeah,
that's why they're continuing with it at least. We haven't even gotten to the pay-per-view. One more thing before we get into the pay-per-view. The Mustafa Ali thing. How do you feel about that? Because now they're calling him Mustafa Ali. They're not calling him Mustafa Ali. Before it was Mustafa. 100%. I'll punch anyone in the face that fucking tries to disagree with me. It was Mustafa, and now now that he came back, it's Mustafa.
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to do like the whole character change, like I don't even know who to compare it to, but I feel like I've seen things almost like Kofi Kingston when he was Jamaican. And then all of a sudden he's like, you know what, guys, I'm clearly not Jamaican. They can hear me talk. I don't have a Jamaican accent. Let's just tell them the truth that, I'm from Ghana. And, they kind of like switched his whole story. Unless they start doing something like that and they start saying like, the reason why I started Retribution was because they say my name wrong, they change my this, they do this to us and whatever. If unless they utilize a story like that,
dude, they did toss him aside when he was super over.
Yeah, well, and then if they don't do something with that, then the name change makes no sense. But
and can we unmask the fucking remaining ones?
You know what? If you're gonna keep, I don't even care what the mask. Just don't the T-bar. No,
the names are pretty bad.
Come on, they could have just. I don't get why they couldn't just keep their names. If you want to put them in like masks because of like Antifa and the Black Lives Matter marches and all that kind of stuff that's happening in the States, so we see masks on the media kind of deal, I can understand why.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're trying a movement, so you want to keep your face covered. I can understand that. But the name change thing makes no sense. Just say here, like, I'm wearing a mask because of it, or even don't give them a name. Let them remain anonymous. Mustafa Ali has this gang of people.
Yeah.
They're problem solved.
Well,
Why do they need?
last time they had a Middle Eastern guy with a gang of masked guys, they had to cancel him and get him off of TV real quick.
And yeah, and he pretty much left professional wrestling shortly thereafter.
Well, they fucking killed The Undertaker. They were choking him on national TV.
Yeah, it's not smart to have a group of armed Muslim militiamen
Yeah.
killing someone 2 days after a subway in London was bombed. It's not the greatest thing to do.
All right, let's get into it, Ryan. I think we've
All right,
diverted and
we went down some rabbit holes, but
Yeah.
now it's time to play a deadly game. 'Cause it's the deadly games.
oh my god, that's the song, guys. That's how it went.
Nestle Crunch is proud to present to you Survivor Series 1998.
These are the deadly games.
It's almost like the Backstreet Boys saying it or something.
It was really weird, especially for having a cool skull with like a snake in the middle and it says Deadly
Yeah.
Games on it. You have a tournament for the title.
And then fucking Nick
These
Carter
are
shows
the
up and
deadly
starts
games. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
fucking Justin Timberlake.
what's going on here?
Oh, 98. How I
Hot
missed thee.
stuff coming through. Dark matches or no? Just skip over them.
Nah, just skip right into the
All right. Fifth match on the night. So there's 18 matches on the card. We're gonna skip over to the fifth one, which is Mankind taking on Dwayne Gill in the first match of the tournament. So Mankind had a mystery opponent, and it was Dwayne Gill. And
I love the story too because I've seen Dwayne Gill on Superstars from like back in the early 90s.
Mhm.
And Vince McMahon straight up said, he had a questionable win-loss record and a knee injury. He went down south to WCW. Yeah, and then he re-aggravated an injury and ended up having to retire, and he was coaching football now, and we've brought him back, and you're like, who the fuck's it gonna be? Like, you don't know, like what like, come on, tell us. Then Dwayne Gill.
You don't know who Dwayne Gill is?
He gets scared by the pyrotechnics. That was amazing. When the pyro goes off, he had a music entrance video, man. I thought it would have been even better if they just debuted Gilbert at this point in time.
Yeah, right.
If they just said he's a former WCW competitor angered by management, and all of a sudden you have like this, the sparklers start going off, and you have like the audio around the arena chanting Gilbert, and people are like, what the fuck? They go Goldberg, and they go Gilbert, and he comes out. That would have been fucking beautiful, man.
So for anyone confused, what Ryan's talking about, the guy that Dwayne Gill is Gilbert. He will be. Was he Gilbert? No, he will be Gilbert, right?
He becomes Gilbert
Yes.
within the next year, and I think his claim to fame was he went and whatever instead of whatever and O.
He had the line tattoos instead of the barbed wire tattoos.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
He had sparklers instead of
It was like the Blue Meanie and Goldust would hold sparklers for him and shit.
yeah. It was the whole thing. It was awesome, and so we get to see the debut of him here as Dwayne Gill, Mankind's mystery opponent, and kind of a gimme in the first round.
Yeah, it was just a quick in and out, just to kind of keep Mankind fresh.
Yeah.
That's as you're going to see it throughout the pay-per-view, that's
Yeah.
what McMahon was trying to do, just make sure that Mankind had the easiest route.
Yeah, and before we continue, the first round is a bye for Undertaker and Kane, so they will face each other in the quarterfinals. The first round is Goldust, Ken Shamrock, Big Boss Man taking on The Rock. Triple H taking on The Rock.
Yeah, Bossman's Austin.
Yeah. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus the Big Boss Man, Steven Regal versus X-Pac, Jeff Jarrett versus Al Snow, and Gilbert versus Mankind, which we just talked about. Next match after Mankind versus Dwayne Gill is a 30-second match.
It was a quick double arm DDT, and then almost like a weird schoolboy roll up.
Yeah, like a cradle, like a little bit
Yeah.
of a cradle, and he like
It was
rolls him
weird-
up. It's a,
and it was
it was
weird
a
'cause he
wrestling
was-
move.
Yeah, it was, and it was weird just because they were on the ground.
Yeah.
Like he could have just put his hand. I mean, he could have pinned him.
Mhm.
I didn't get why they did it the way they did,
It
but
was a wrestling pin, bro. He wanted to show off. That's
Show
the
off
only,
his-
the only thing I could think of. Match after this is Al Snow with Head taking on Jeff Jarrett with
Not-
Deborah.
not just any head. A head with Socko.
Oh yeah, stolen sock.
Yeah, he found Mr. Socko, and Mr. Socko became an accessory for head.
Yeah,
Because everyone knows that you want a sock when you have head.
we had a small vignette of Sable before this, guaranteeing victory in a title match upcoming against Jacqueline. But yeah,
Against Jackie, yeah.
yeah. So Jeff Jarrett taking on
Al Snow.
Al Snow. Deborah
And they
is
were-
Austin's wife, or they're divorced at this time. They're divorced, right? They're
They're
married earlier on, or are they married now?
They might be married now. 98. Yeah, they late 98. They probably are married now,
I don't remember. Doesn't really
getting
matter.
ready for the separation or something like that. But yeah,
Sable's probably still married to Mark Marrow here, right?
yeah, because he's still in the business.
Yeah. And Brock Lesnar's not in there yet, so yeah.
Yeah. And I liked how they talked about Al Snow beat Jeff Jarrett in the Intercontinental tournament, and now Al Snow has a chance to prevent him from winning the WWF Championship too. So in the matter of I think a month, they fight twice in two separate tournaments.
And it's not that bad of a match. It's not a great match either. It comes down to
Al Snow had some fun moves though.
yeah, no, Al Snow. So I kept
We
hearing
talk about
it.
this all the time.
I hear it on podcasts, and I repeat it. But you need to go back. Not you, Ryan, but you need to go back and watch Al Snow. He's very, very underrated as a wrestler,
Hmm.
and it just goes to show you why he's a teacher to this day. And I think he runs a promotion, right? OW something,
Yeah.
Ohio, something in Ohio, I think.
He's definitely involved. Yeah, he's definitely. I don't. Yeah. I don't know about the promotion, but he's been teaching for years now.
Mhm.
Like he's just he just churns out product after product after product.
So Deborah distracts the ref by grabbing Head. The ref is telling her to put it away. She-
Whoa! 1 second. Deborah grabbed the ref's head and he tried to put it away.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot who the ref was, but he doesn't swing that way, bro.
Yeah.
Can you respect that?
Yeah, the jokes just write themselves with Al Snow. Like for this,
Yeah, with Head.
it's so great.
You know what was awesome? Seeing the walkout by Al Snow.
Yeah,
The fans are so into it; they all bust out their head.
yeah, but their mannequin head.
Yeah, and
And
then
it's
over the
also-
song.
It's like if you listen to the New Age Outlaws theme song, there's no intro. It's just music, and Road Dogg would cut the live promo every single time. It was the same thing with Al Snow. Al Snow's song was "What Does Everybody Want?" and then silence and just the music playing, and the audience would yell "Head,"
Yeah.
and like you could see however he was that the place would just erupt when people heard those first few words.
Al Snow defeats Jeff Jarrett with the help of Head. Deborah, like I was mentioning, Deborah tries to. She shows it to the ref to get the ref distracted. The ref tells her to put it down. She puts it down on the apron for Jeff to get while she keeps the ref distracted. The ref is distracted, and Al Snow also is going for the guitar at this time. Tries to home run swing Jeff Jarrett in the head. He ducks under. He hits Al Snow. Al's in the corner. I don't know what the hell's going on with the ref. He's just kind of, I guess.
Yeah, but well, by the end of that part where one has the guitar, one has the head, and then the other has the head, and
Okay.
the referee was just so out of it.
After he hits him and he's in the corner, Jarrett's like, "Hey, get the guitar out of the ring, ref. Get the guitar out of the ring." And he goes to hit him again. He goes to hit Al
Yeah,
Snow
and that's
again.
and then he kicks him into.
Yeah, he kicks
But
it.
the
And then
referee took a damn long time to put the guitar down in the
he
corner and
had
then
to play
position
solo.
it. Like, yeah, play a yeah, that
Yeah,
would
he
have been great.
started shredding. That's why it took so long.
Yeah.
But Al Snow takes control of it, hits him with the wooden head there. JR keeps on mentioning it's made of wood, even though most of those mannequin heads are made of styrofoam or plastic. So
Yeah. Normally you see those ones like at what do you call it?
uh,
Beauty salons, right?
yeah, who the fuck would make
They-
one out of wood? It'd be heavy as shit. The whole mannequin.
Yeah, well, come on. These are wrestlers, though, man. They pick up 3,000-pound steel steps to break McMahon's ankles, so they could,
You got me there.
they
You got me there. Superhumans. Well, fucking looking at all the beating that Austin took throughout this night, yeah, fucking
yeah.
superheroes, dude. Yeah. So Al Snow advances with the help of Head, pins Jarrett 1, 2, 3. Jarrett's pissed, and they leave out of there. Next match is Stone Cold Steve Austin taking on the Big Boss Man here, and the Big Boss Man just beats the shit out of Austin. As soon as Austin starts getting any offense in the ring, then they're outside. He just starts clubbing him with his
The nightclub.
Yeah, his nightstick.
Well, they even kind of they mention how like Bossman's basically just there to weaken Austin just in case Austin gets the win, and Bossman better not let Austin win because he wouldn't want to go backstage afterwards and all that kind of stuff. So it's like and I think after a couple times when he hits him with the Billy Club, that Jim Ross says, "Well, should he be disqualified? What is this, a non-disqualification match now?" Like, they really sell the fact that, like, no, the corporation can get away with whatever they want because they own it.
Yeah, and they're like, I think King's like, the ref doesn't want to count of 3. He knows who he's working for.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Or he doesn't want to disqualify him because McMahon's definitely in the back. They keep on like showing him watching all these matches and shit. So Bossman gets himself disqualified by beating up Austin. You know, he just does it deliberately. The ref has to disqualify him. McMahon reacts to it, you know, like, and they're like, oh, maybe Austin can't even continue. So that's what they're hoping for.
Yeah, and they did a good job of really showing like Austin in that vulnerable state of getting his ass whipped so much.
Yeah, because Bossman comes back and he starts focusing on the ribs. He's hitting Austin in the arm before that, and he's just focusing on different spots at 2 different times. So Austin leaves with his head down and holding his fucking arm.
Yeah, and I've thankfully never been hit with a nightstick before. Mm-hmm. Knock on wood, I won't ever get hit with a nightstick. But you've heard the stories of people that got hit with them, and it's like they can, the right officer swings it can break a bone. Mm-hmm. So like they really did make it feel like, goddamn, Austin's hurt.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine because I used to have so back in my training days, I was stupid, you know.
You had nunchucks?
No. But
I was gonna say.
So we had paddles for the fraternity, and we'd have to make them ourselves. One of our guys worked at he had access to the wood shop, so we just buy the wood, trace it out, and then go cut them out. But they'd have the edges would come off, and they'd be squares. So I was in Muay Thai, and
and I know where this is going.
And a technique that they have for strengthening bones is microfractures.
Yeah.
And you get those by hitting your bones on hard stuff. And the way to do it when you're not at training is to hit yourself with wood. And that's what I used to do. I used to sit there and just fucking beat my shins and beat my elbows. And
years later, Rafa walked with a limp.
No,
but man, you see those guys out in Southeast Asia that can take down banana trees with their legs, man. I mean, it's like, hey, there gotta be something behind it, right?
Well, it's funny. I think you posted that video of that guy choking out his boys and like giving them arm bars and stuff.
Yeah.
To a degree, that was me. not as douchey, but like I was training, and you have to get it out, dude. Like you do it in
Mhm.
training, but you're walking at home, you're like, I could destroy these guys like this, and they should know it.
Yeah. You got to assert dominance.
Yeah, you're a fucking 20-year-old, and you're like oozing fucking testosterone. You need to assert dominance. Like, hey, just so you know, if you try anything funny, I'll kill you. I will fucking choke you out, or
I can do.
I'll give you a couple body shots. Or I used to tap these guys.
And I'm
with,
sure,
with my foot.
that living in Chicago, you knew the neighborhoods just to drop them off. I never seen this guy before in my life. I don't know. Must have been that guy over there who did it.
Yeah, like, hey, I don't know. Go ask questions in that neighborhood. See if you get any answers.
Yeah.
No, but I used to tap these guys like with leg kicks, like when they were like they didn't have their defenses up. I used to just tap them, pop with the shin to the quad, a nice little Charlie horse. And I can imagine if I would just kick them. They're lucky I'm not a fucking dickhead that would just fucking whack or fucking go all out. I'd tap them. They were love taps.
Right.
Like, hey, just so you know, this is 20%. If you want
Yeah.
100, let me know.
So, as Vince Carter would say, it's over.
It's over. No, but that was a funny video. Yeah, so Big Boss Man disqualifies himself on purpose to maim.
Yeah,
Steve Austin.
and Austin left in the ambulance, didn't he? Did he, or am I thinking about something different? I might be.
You're thinking about The Rock on Raw before this? The Rock on the Raw before this got beat up backstage, and they had 2 segments where he was in an ambulance.
I was thinking about no. There was one where Austin drives back in an ambulance.
I don't think it was this one.
No, okay. I may have switched up something from a different.
You might be right though, unless I just didn't pick it up. But I didn't.
No.
I watched this like 2 times, so I don't think so. Next match after this was another first round tournament match between the Manly Man, Steven Regal. I hate this gimmick. I think I blocked it out. I always remember him as.
I love every time I think of Steven Regal, I think of he's man. I always remember him chopping the wood
So
and all that
weird.
shit. I remember that so much. Like I thought it was. I mean, looking back, it was corny, but at the time, I'm like this guy's awesome. Like this guy's fucking hilarious.
So weird.
That flannel.
The flannel,
Dude,
the
that's
song.
flannel. You know, living in Canada, you see flannel. You're like, this guy's a badass.
It's just maybe because, like, I always see him as the blue-blooded Brit, and there was nothing about a blue-blooded Brit here.
They went exact opposite.
Yeah.
In his WCW to WWF
He came to
persona.
my school and he talked to us, so that's why I know him as a blue-blooded Brit.
Okay.
He came to Kelly. He all suited in a suit, just regular, but talked to us about reading. But he was the most famous guy that they brought. They brought Tatanka, him. I don't know. I forgot who else. But yeah, they brought those 2 wrestlers, and for some reason because I guess I was like in IB classes and AP classes, so they let the good students into some cool auditorium stuff when they had stuff. So this was not my Steven Regal.
To me, like I don't know. At the time, I guess I knew him in WCW, but I was always the WWF guy.
Yeah.
So for me, this was my real introduction to him. Even like I mean, obviously they quickly switch him over to being more British shortly thereafter. And this gimmick kind of failed a little bit, but yeah, this was kind of my introduction to him. I mean, that's why I remember it. Also, a chef that I worked for at the time, we would watch wrestling pay-per-views and shit. And I remember him like he would always say, "He's a man." So like it's just embedded, kind of like the Deadly Games theme song. It's just embedded in my brain as part of like my nostalgic childhood history. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. He's I think 30 or 32 years old, and they mentioned in the pay-per-view because I was shocked. I'm like, what the fuck? And the thing is, he has a weird body, almost like an old man body, but he's muscular, but it's still like an old man body. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. No, that's 100%.
But he was he was like 30 years old here. Like he's my age, and maybe I'm
Yeah.
just because it's me. No, he definitely looks old, right? He's always looked old his whole fucking career. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
No, yeah, he definitely had that. I mean, well, I mean, also like when you're in the get Paige, right? Like Paige isn't exactly super old,
Yeah.
but she looks rough because she's been in the business for so long.
So
Shit gets to me, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So he's taking on X Pac here. X Pac is recovering from a fireball from Kane in the face. I think a couple pay-per-views ago he had guitar splinters in the eye. So
Yeah.
everything's going in fucking X Pac's eyes, and he's tearing his asshole. It's a whole thing with him.
He's had a fucking career and a half.
Yeah, the guys lived a life. So Steven Regal and him are going at it. I thought what they were gonna do is I thought they were just gonna let time run out, and I think first round tournament matches were 10 minutes. So if time ran out, they both got eliminated. What they did
Yep.
here was a double count out. So they're just fighting on the outside. And
Okay, this is what I wanted to ask you.
Mhm.
McMahon sends Slaughter,
yes.
restart the match.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask.
Okay,
Yeah.
restart the match. X-Pac's outside the ring. If he can't make it into the ring, is William Regal, Steven Regal, whatever, he wins,
Yeah, he wins.
right? He wins because he could not make it back into the ring. Then, by virtue, the winner is Regal. But because X-Pac couldn't get into the ring, the double countout stands. I was,
Dude, even Bruce Pritchard couldn't even make sense of this, and he's like, "Look, maybe X Pac was injured for real, and he had to get out of there."
yeah, I don't know. It was like it was just such a weird thing. Like I'm watching it, I'm like, I remember all of this, but I don't remember this ending.
It was such a shit ending. So, just to clarify it up a bit, so it ends with a double count out, and it shoots to the back while they're announcing, and McMahon's like, "Tell him overtime, make it an overtime, god damn it, go!" And
Slaughter running for the first time in fucking 20 years.
yeah, they're all running, and they restart the match, and X-Pac just leaves, and instead of
he's crawling down the entrance way.
yeah, and he just fucking leaves, and they then Regal chases after him, and it kind of just ends like that, and then it goes back to the back, and it's like, Austin gets a bye.
Yeah,
Austin gets a bye.
It was such a fucking weird. I get what they were trying to do, but they just did
Not
it
executed.
weird. Yeah, they should have just said double count. Like what would have been really good is as like Slaughter's running, if like he bumps into someone or something, and he gets prevented, and it just like McMahon just saying like what, like just like in shock. Like that would have been the better thing to do, but I don't know, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
I think like Regal wins that match by like any by forfeiture. That would be a forfeited win, right? Like you can't make it back in the ring; it's over.
Especially seeing the outcome too, like the whole tournament. Maybe I'll come back and touch on this. It doesn't make sense. Like,
you know what would have been really good for wrapping up the whole tournament? Mankind's getting a glass of water, and as he turns around, Slaughter turns a corner and bumps into him and falls or something, or Mankind spills some water while he's getting a drink, and Slaughter slips on it and falls, and that prevents him from getting there, and McMahon's all pissed off.
Yeah, they could have done something to prevent it.
Like you could have had like some like comedy angle that they used to, because they used to mix comedy here for storyline there. They used to do that all the time, man.
The only thing that does make sense is X-Pac was really injured and he just went to the back. And when he went to the back, he might have just told him, "I'm done. I can't go. I can't go." And they might have just told, well, no, because Regal gave chase, so maybe they're like, just give chase.
Regal gave chase, but they're even saying like, oh, like even the announcers like X-Pac's leaving here, he might be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't talk. The referee, there was no referees coming out to check on him as he was crawling away.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a weird finish. Like I don't.
We're gonna have a little bit more of that too a little bit later on. Next match after this is Ken Shamrock taking on Goldust, Intercontinental Champion. Ken Shamrock taking on Goldust, and they've had their matches for the championship. The Rock and Ken Shamrock have also had their little mini rivalry.
This entire year, they had matches at Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, King of the Ring, now Survivor Series. So outside of SummerSlam, out of the where Triple H took on The Rock took on Ken Shamrock in 4 of the company's top 5 pay-per-views.
And
crap, spoiler. I mean, potentially if The Rock and Shamrock both win their matches in the first round.
Yeah. And the reason Ken Shamrock kind of never makes it to the top and isn't a top guy is because he has his own plans for MMA, and he kind of misses shows up late all the time. So Jim Ross and
late to meetings, gives 100% in the ring, but doesn't give 100% anywhere else.
So creative and talent relations kind of just like, all right, if that's what you got to do, then we have to pick our top guy that is going to be a top guy, and we'll use you as B. He didn't like that. Yep. Eventually got out of there, went to MMA, and it just because look what happened with him and The Rock. If you look at their careers after this, The Rock catapults to some of his best years.
And dude, man,
time reference. This Rock's been in the game 2 years, well, at least in WWE.
Yeah,
2 years. He debuted at Survivor Series 2 years before this as Rocky Maivia.
And you think about it too, like Shamrock, the MMA background really gave Shamrock something to work with, right? Because he was smooth in the ring, man. He was great in the ring.
He's gigantic, and dude. He's gonna explode.
When you saw him in TNA, was fantastic in TNA. It was like he had some good matches in TNA back, and this is like the launch of it all. Like they needed like names to survive the first few months kind of deal, and he was fantastic there. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a slouch by any stretch.
I've never seen him in TNA, but seeing his matches, going back and watching his matches here.
The only negative thing I'll say about Ken Shamrock in TNA was he had like those like rock sideburns from the Honky Tonk Man sideburns. That was one thing where he comes out. I remember the first time I'm like, okay, that's a look, I guess. I mean, you didn't need that for any reason. It's not a character thing, but okay. And to be fair, he had those in MMA years later too. Yeah. So, but I mean, he definitely could have been a champion in this era. Like you see champions that were in the Attitude Era, he could have definitely been plugged in.
Yeah, it just some people just shoot themselves in the foot.
Yep.
Ken Shamrock advances, beats Goldust. Goldust is going for the Shattered Dreams, which is where he kicks them in the nuts in the corner. The ref gets in the way and prevents Goldust from doing this, distracting him just enough for Ken Shamrock to take the upper hand, land 2 moves, and then locks in his ankle lock, submitting Goldust.
Yeah.
And they're really, really pushing the submission. And they did for Ken Shamrock, the ankle lock, and it kind of continued for Angle, I guess. Angle modified it a bit and gave it his oomph.
They've always liked, like, when Lesnar came back from MMA, he had the Kimura. Ronda Rousey had the armbar. Shamrock with the ankle lock. Dan Severn had that press where he'd grab their arms or their leg, and he'd have their knee in their back and stretch it. That was what injured D'Lo Brown. That's why D'Lo had that chest plate, because of the dancer. Vince McMahon gets an MMA guy. What's your submission gonna be? Like that's like as they walk in the door, he's thinking submission hold right away.
Yep. Next match after this is The Rock taking on the Game, Triple H. You like that, don't you?
Yeah.
I caught myself. So
itself.
Triple H's music is playing, or DX's music is playing, but we see the two goons for Mr. McMahon,
Stooges.
the Stooges,
Stooges, baby. They come out full throttle.
Patterson and Briscoe.
One thing I want to point out, if anyone knows about Pat Patterson's alleged history, especially with Ring Boys, him doing the suck it sign may not have been the smartest thing that they could have done.
It was
Because,
hilarious. I
oh
loved
man,
it.
he's doing suck it. The first thing that pops in my mind is, man, there were a lot of Ring Boys back in the day that are that are getting Vietnam flashbacks right now. Oh fuck, man. It was funny though. Like it was corny, but yeah, like Briscoe and Patterson doing the suck it, and we fooled you, blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love the crotch chops.
It was a swerve.
Yeah, swerved them. And they announced a Big Boss Man. That's why I kept on fucking saying there was a Big Boss Man. So Big Boss Man comes out to face The Rock, and an awesome move by Creative, The Rock baits him in and rolls him up in 4 seconds and gets the win.
Yeah, it's literally ding ding ding, roll up 1, 2, 3, ding ding ding. Like if you they say sometimes like I'm gonna go grab like a beer,
Yeah,
and you miss the whole thing. Here, if you like turned your head to stretch, you missed the whole thing. Like
Yeah.
you didn't have to leave the room, and you could have missed it.
yeah, and it's awesome because they're painting the story of The Rock doesn't want Austin to win. The Rock doesn't want Undertaker to win. The Rock doesn't want McMahon doesn't want Rock, Undertaker, or Austin to win. He wants Mankind to win, and he's making it easier for Mankind. The path has been laid out for Mankind, and he kind of just fucked over the boss's
he's
plans.
he's thinking like worst case scenario, like Kane and Undertaker, one of them has to advance, but they're going to face each other first round.
Yeah.
And then the winner takes on Mankind, or takes on Rock. So like there is another problem gone.
Yeah. And Triple H isn't in it, so them throwing in Big Boss Man and him getting the count out is like, fuck, he just fucked over the boss. He got one over on the boss. Let's see. Yeah, because he beat him in 3 seconds. So the match after this is Undertaker taking on Kane because they both got a bye. Not that crazy of a match. The Undertaker kind of is limited. He's injured in this match, so we don't see a lot of vintage Undertaker. We see a lot more power moves instead of some of his high-flying arsenal. I don't remember what he's protecting. Is it his orbital? I know he's injured.
He's injured. I don't remember what it was now.
Might have been a knee. I know.
I thought it was lower body, like a hip or a knee.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm drawing a blank on what the specific injury was.
Okay.
I don't think it was orbital. I think the only time it was orbital was with the Mabel crushing his face. That was the only time I remember hearing him with that. I want maybe like a knee or an ankle, something along those lines. Because he didn't do the walk the ropes.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't do a jump over the rope spot that I remember. It was more slams and in the ring stuff.
Yeah,
and Paul Bearer distracts Kane just long enough for Undertaker to get the upper hand to land the Tombstone Pile Driver, gets the victory, advances, and Kane's pissed because Paul Bearer, his father, intervened.
Now it's clear who he's working with.
Yeah. So this is the first quarterfinal match. Second quarterfinal match is Mankind taking on Al Snow. It's a whatever match. It's a tournament match. It advances the storyline, so it's a good match in that aspect. And we have Mankind but he discovers his sock on
Al Snow's head.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Al Snow's head that on head's forehead.
Yeah, on Al Snow's
forehead.
Yeah.
that We're trying to figure out how to describe that one.
The best part, what had me dying, was Mankind punching the shit out of the head.
Yeah, getting all pissed off at it.
Like, you took my Socko, what the fuck? Like, it's a real fucking thing.
And all of a sudden, like you see, and here's the groundwork laid now that Mankind's not necessarily all in on being corporate, because he has that connection to something childish, if you would. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to grow up. He wants to be Peter Pan in Neverland. He wants to have Mr. Socko forever.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be all cleaned up and shaven and hair in
wants-
a ponytail and a tuxedo.
He wants to have that. He put the white shirt on and on the first of the month, and after the pay-per-view, it's all in tatters because he hasn't taken it off yet. Like that's the Mankind that he wants to be.
Isn't that the Mankind we all want to?
You're fucking right, man. This Mankind, like, I loved the deranged debut Mankind, but when he turns the corner and like becomes this Mankind of like the late '98 into '99, it's over.
Yeah, I love this Mankind. I need to get myself a Mankind for one of my faves.
For the collection.
Yeah, for the collection. Let's see. Next match is... Yeah, so, sorry, we didn't... Mankind defeated Al Snow. I don't think we mentioned that. He defeats him by... once he finds a sock, he puts on Socko.
Yeah, and he brings back the Mandible Claw.
Yeah, and he does it on
Al Snow
gets
for the win.
victory. Yeah, by submission. Advances. Next match is going to be The Rock taking on Ken Shamrock.
So there you go. So as I alluded to earlier, this is the fourth pay-per-view that they will take on, or they will have a match with each other, which is, I think the title was on the line at Royal Rumble. I don't know if it was on the line at WrestleMania. I don't remember now. I'm drawing a blank. I think it was, and I think that Shamrock won by disqualification, or he was I don't know how now about that WrestleMania, but he beats him for the King of the Ring title in June. So I mean, like, they feuded for the title, they feuded for the King of the Ring. Now they're feuding in a tournament for to advance in the WWF Championship. So like, these guys they've had some deep storyline history in this year.
Yeah. Let's see. Sorry, I lost the. Here we go. Yeah, no, it's not that great of a match, but like I said, it advances the
well, I think the problem with this match is that, like I just said, we saw them at King of the Ring, we saw them at WrestleMania,
Yeah.
we saw them at Royal Rumble. We've seen them get 15 minutes and what they can do, and now you're telling them, hey, what you guys did in 15, can you do it in 8 minutes? You do it in 5 minutes? And it's like, well, it's hard to ask guys that develop a repertoire together to condense it and to lose things and tell the same story.
In the grand scheme of things, and the storytelling wise, it does its purpose.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, the way that it wraps up is that, the main part that they were trying to tell, The Rock beat the corporation one more time.
Yeah, Boss Man throws the nightstick.
He's beating the Boss Man. Now he's beating Shamrock.
He throws it into Boss Man throws the nightstick into Shamrock. Rock intercepts, hits Shamrock while the ref isn't looking. Gets the 1, 2, 3. He advances into the semifinals against
And it's Taker.
Yeah, against Taker.
And also the other quarterfinal matchup was Austin Spy. So I don't think you mentioned, but Mankind will take on Austin in the other semifinal matchup.
Okay. Yeah, Austin's bye was because
of the Regal X-Pac, whatever.
Yeah.
We spent a few minutes trying to figure out what that was already. I'm not
Yeah.
going to go down that rabbit hole again.
Why it ended and
How it ended and
Yeah.
what they were thinking.
why they restarted it, and no, not really restarted it. They just moved along. Like, you know what? Let's
Yeah.
just keep it moving. After this, Sable takes on Jacqueline for Jacqueline's women's championship.
Yeah, and they showed how Mero helped her win when Sable was trying to suplex her into the ring, and he grabbed the foot and held her down so that Jackie could get the 1, 2, 3. So now it's and she wants her belt back, and she's not afraid to take on Mero if she has to. It pretty much like
not that great of a match. 3 minutes,
and that's the
14
thing that
seconds.
sucks. We've talked about this so many times, right? Like the evolution of women's wrestling.
Mhm.
Back then, it was
Sable was learning here, man.
yeah. That's the thing. It's like if you
It
have
sucked, but she was
if
learning.
you have a great body, we'll put you on TV.
Yeah.
That was the rule of wrestling back then.
Mhm.
You didn't like it when you realize how dangerous that idea was.
Mhm.
As a kid, you're like, whatever, she's got boobs, woo. And now
And-
you're like, man, you could like that Sable Bomb. She could hurt people if she
Yeah.
was like if she really didn't know what she was doing.
And credit to Sable, she came in as just a look, and she put some effort in towards learning a small skill set that would put her over, and that's all she needed, especially at her
Mhm.
age.
And honestly, that Sable Bomb was fantastic too.
Yeah.
Like she was like, it's weird to say it, but she has one of the most, I would say, underrated power bombs probably in wrestling history.
Mm-hmm. She was able to get Mero in this match.
Yeah,
She power bombs him on the outside. It was a nice power bomb.
that's the thing too. I always liked about Mark Mero. He was not afraid to get beat up by Sable.
Yeah.
He does it throughout this entire rivalry that he has with her.
Are you saying she's dominatrix and he would get
I'd say he's a victim actually.
of the whole industry? Yeah, look what they did to him. Shoot him up and spit him out.
Hey Mark, you want a contract? Sure. How much? Sure. Can you bring your wife if you want?
Yeah. What is it gonna?
Hey Mark, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna get beat up by your wife now.
Yeah, what is it gonna cost me? Your wife.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing good now though. So props to Mero.
Yeah. Sable picks up the victory, picks up the championship, and reclaims what was once hers, the title.
Yep.
Next match after this is Mankind taking on Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oof, what a match this was.
Yeah.
This match had everything too. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to like a random tournament match, like you got a lot of fun. You got a lot of comedy points that were funny as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You had stiff shots.
And it became a hardcore match. The ref stopped calling stuff because Mankind was McMahon's favorite. He'd groomed them to be the next corporate champion or the first corporate champion. Well, besides himself,
exactly.
right?
And because the referee wasn't counting, and that's the thing too. It's like if Mankind tried to use a chair, say on Austin, and the referee wasn't allowed to call it, then the referee would just be like, "Well, Austin used a chair. I'll give it to me." It doesn't have, like, you know what I mean? Like the rule doesn't just go one way. Like sometimes you see like it's a no disqualification match for one person only. Like the referee just said, "Well, no disqualification, fine, whatever."
Yeah. Austin's kicking the chair back in McFoley's face. It's a good match. It's a good back and forth. And
Mankind loses his fucking pants, dude. Can we not skip that? I mean, how fucking great.
He was wrestling in the socks.
They even said the line, Mankind, like Austin's literally beating the pants off of Mankind. Yeah. He hits the ropes, and as he comes back, it was like Homer Simpson riding that little tricycle when he's trying to become a clown. His pants just slowly fall off. Like, god damn it, man. Like, I laughed so hard watching that. Like, I loved it,
Burn
man.
that seat.
Yeah. Oh, like the only way that would have been better is if Mankind just had like boxer shorts and nothing else, but he had like his Mankind pants underneath. Like if he was wearing boxers and like his pants fell down, he just had like the smiley face or heart boxers or something stupid like that. I would have died, man.
So he completely loses his clothes in this one against Austin. And we get probably one of the most famous scenes out of the McMahon Austin feud. So Austin hits Mankind with a stunner, goes for the pin. By this time, a bunch
Oh,
of
that's what we forgot to mention from the Sable match who the referee was, because that was the important thing.
Shane
This is
McMahon,
why,
yeah.
and that's why. So Shane was the referee in the match prior, and that's why he was in this getup, because Shane was just refereeing the Sable Jackie title match.
Yeah.
So that's why he was in that getup.
Yeah.
And he was responsible for signing Austin to that contract, as we alluded to earlier.
And sometime during this match, the ref gets knocked out, right? Because
the referee gets is out, and Austin hits Mankind with the stunner.
Yeah. And Shane comes out, and Austin won it like 2 or 3 times. I don't know if McMahon interfered or something.
Oh, that's what it was. McMahon's in the wheelchair ringside, and they pull the referee out, and McMahon stands up in the wheelchair and starts kicking the shit out of the ref.
Okay. And Austin
and that's when they realized that he wasn't actually hurt.
Yeah. And Austin should have won a couple times. And then finally he hits a stunner on Mankind. Then Shane McMahon comes out. 1, 2, stops
stares
the
him
count.
dead in the eyes.
Yeah,
Ooh.
we get the awesome acting by Shane. He's just looking at him like, and then gives him the 2 birds. He flips him off. And then Austin with the awesome acting too, like what the fuck, super pissed, like what the hell, man, like I thought I trusted you, and he takes off.
And to give credit to Something to Wrestle, I don't know if it was Mankind episode, Austin's episode, a Rock episode, a Survivor Series episode. But they talk about this chair shot for a few minutes, because I think Bruce Pritchard called it.
Yeah.
He calls it like the worst chair shot in the history of professional wrestling, because Briscoe, so Austin's kind of battling it out with Patterson, and Patterson's kind of like holding him a little bit, and all you hear is like Briscoe brings it up, and he didn't really know how to do a chair shot properly, and he go, dink. And Austin acts as if he's just been shot in the fucking skull. Like, he just drops like a rock, and it's like when you go, like, you watch it, like it was so light that there was no sound of the chair hitting Austin. It was almost like he picked up the chair and just was fanning him off, and the wind effect knocked Austin unconscious.
Yeah. Do you know why this happened?
Yeah, it was a boss man that was late to the queue.
So yeah, you kind of got it there. Boss Man was
Was he grabbing a drink or something to eat or something stupid, and he just missed his cue?
They were all at Gorilla, and Pritchard says he's like, "Do you guys ready?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he thought everyone left. Everyone thought Boss Man left out with, like, he went out without them. But apparently before this, Boss Man was asking, "Hey, do you guys need me out there?" And they were like, "What?" And I guess they told him no, but because he needed to go over the match with Undertaker, and he hadn't gone over the match with Undertaker.
Oh, right.
And he just didn't go out with him, and it was his spot to hit Austin. And for some reason, he had a mind fucking flub, and he asked if he had to go out there with them, even though he was the one with the spot. So Patterson had to act on the fly and hit Austin in the head with the chair. But Austin has a bad neck.
That's right. That's what it was. He didn't want to hurt Austin's neck, and he didn't. And Briscoe was afraid to cause damage to Austin. Mm-hmm. That's right.
So another fuck up of the night, if we take the X-Pac Regal one into account as well. So
no. The X-Pac ending sucked ass. This one had potential to be good if at least it looked like he got hit with the chair.
Mm-hmm.
Regal and think the match was restarted, but the bell never rang.
Yeah, that
And
just
like there you I don't even know if you can compare the two.
yeah, because they just didn't give us a finish whatsoever, and they just left it as a double disqualification. Start the match over. Psych.
Yeah.
Let's see. After this, it's The Rock taking on The Undertaker.
And I think we talked about this a month or so ago on an episode of Raw. It was right after the breakdown pay-per-view, actually, when it was Shamrock, Mankind, and The Rock versus the Brothers of Destruction.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about how you don't really see The Rock and The Undertaker that often in the ring together, it seemed.
One of the few times then, right?
Yeah, and I thought about that when I watched this match, and you could see like this match wasn't great, and again, time restraints and everything like that, but you can see where, if given time, these guys could have had a good story.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely could have.
Yeah, so they get 8 minutes and 23 seconds. And what happens here? Kane comes out and hits The Rock, disqualifies The Rock.
Undertaker has Rock for a choke slam. He's got him by the neck. Kane comes down, and Undertaker just basically throws The Rock at Kane.
Yeah.
And The Rock, as he's thrown, he turns, and so he turns to face Kane, and Kane grabs him, choke slams him, and wins by
DQ.
DQ, yeah. So he advances to the final to take on Mankind. I like the ending because Kane is able to screw over his brother.
Get revenge from earlier.
Yeah, because from Kane's point of view, he wants to get in there. He wants to he wants to screw over the Undertaker. He wants to cost him the match.
Yeah.
He also wants to he wants to get his hands on him. So if he beats him up, Undertaker advances. So he beats up The Rock. So Undertaker gets disqualified and whatever. And it's perfect because Undertaker was the one that threw The Rock at Kane to cause the whole thing. So
Rock advances to the finals versus Mankind. So it's The Rock versus Mankind for the World Heavyweight Championship.
I hope nothing screwy happens.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, come on. Mankind's definitely on McMahon's payroll. He's definitely going to be the next corporate champion if McMahon has.
And there's no way that McMahon's going to do a screw job after what happened in 1997. The controversy there. You don't want to have that. You don't want to have that kind of publicity on your company again.
Yeah. But before the main event, we have a tag title match to break everything up. The New Age Outlaws taking on D'Lo Brown, Mark Henry, and also in the third tag team, the Headbangers. This is a triple threat tag team match for the tag team championships, and it is a complete shit show.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend this match.
Just a cluster. Yeah. 4 corners matches and triple threat tag team matches can be done brilliantly. They can also be clusters if you tell the guys, go out there and eat up some time and have this beer. The finish was good in the way that I don't know which headbanger it was, but he takes the Fame-Asser and then gets the splash, and then Henry, that gets tossed out, and I forget what the last move was, but then Billy Gunn gets pins him after the last move. Trying to blank now.
The Famouser? I'm pretty sure it's the Famouser, no?
No, he hits it with the Famouser, and then he pins him, and that was when Mark Henry does the splash, and Billy Gunn rolls out of the way. But then Mark Henry ends up out of the ring with D'Lo and Road Dogg near their headbanger, and Billy Gunn does another move, and I forget what it was, but it wasn't the Famouser. So the end flowed nicely. Big move, get out of the way, really incapacitate the guy, get the big guy out of the ring, one more move, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Perfect ending.
Yeah, it's just them
getting to that point.
The filler of 10 minutes was So pretty much, this is the match. We have 3 guys in the ring at all times, one of each tag team, and then at a lot of points we have one guy versus another guy and another guy in the corner. And then every so often he comes in and betrays the other guy he's supposed to be in cahoots with after they double team one guy for a while. Those 2 guys go at it while the other guy recovers in the corner, and then he low blows one of them, and the other 2 guys go at it while that guy recovers. And that's all you have. Like, it's no good.
You know what's funny too is like the one thing that they really made sure to talk about was, the same tag team can't be in the ring at the same time.
Yeah.
Because there was a very famous scene on Raw. I think it was either a triple threat or fatal or a 4 corners. I want to say it was a 4 corners tag team match for the titles. And at the end of it, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn both get tagged in, and they're standing there and they're facing each other, and all the 3 other teams are standing there like laughing, like, "Oh, this is gonna be hilarious! Like these guys gotta fight each other now." And Road Dogg and Billy Gunn were like, okay." And the one New Age Outlaw, I forget which one it was, lays down, and the other one pins him 1, 2, 3 super fast to get the pin, and so they win the titles. Mm-hmm. So they made it known that, like, listen, both tag team members cannot be in the ring at the same time to prevent that from happening. So like, I kind of like that little throwback to the tactics that the Outlaws had used in a prior match like this.
Yeah, and then the poor ref too. At a certain point, Badass Billy Gunn gets hit with the lowdown, and he doesn't count for a good 6 seconds, and then like he gets down, he's looking at him, and it just, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I feel like it was,
the ref just couldn't keep up with it either. It was just too much chaos.
There was too much going on. No, but I mean, like you said, like, you know, it ate up the time that they needed it to eat up, and after the X-Pac Regal debacle, at least this thing had a nice finish.
It was, it was a pile driver that finished it off.
Was it a pile? Okay.
Yeah, he hit him with a pile driver while the other headbanger was in the ring fighting off.
Yeah.
Henry not paying attention to his partner getting pinned.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just fuckery. It was just fucky all around. I think the ref was confused, and he was looking for a spot. And he's like, "This isn't the spot, so I'm not going to count." Like, dude, he clearly has his shoulders down, and he's the legal man.
Yeah, just all you have to do is say, these guys are pros. If they hear 1, 2, they're going to kick out.
Yeah. And then and then especially after waiting that long, looking at them in the face, you should have been like, I don't know, like, "Hey, you're not the legal man." And then for some reason, Billy Gunn's like, "Hey, take a look at my ass and my G-string, because I'm a dude and I wear a G-string."
That was a really hilarious thing too. Because he wears those booty short kind of things, right? And like to have like not even like the ass cheeks cut out, they were cut out like above his ass just enough.
It was they had lips on his ass and they were cut out in slits, or they were slit out.
but they were just like a little bit above the actual ass cheeks themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But that was hilarious. I love it.
So provocative.
And they made it sound a lot worse. They're like, "Oh my god, can you believe what he's wearing?" And you're like, okay.
It is pay-per-view. You get what you paid for.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's...
We forgot to mention that after... Did we mention? That after the Mankind loss, Stone Cold took off after McMahon and them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he made Chase, and that's what I'm thinking of, I think.
Austin.
McMahon takes off, and Austin beats up that guy and steals his car.
Yeah, he steals his truck. He's like, "Hey, get the fuck out of here."
That's what I'm thinking of. It wasn't an ambulance. It was just he jumps in a car and drives off.
Yeah.
My bad.
Mm-hmm. Final match: The Rock taking on Mankind for the vacant WWF Heavyweight Championship. And it's not a bad match. I'd probably give it 2.5 stars. It's not that. It's more story than anything. It's how it ends.
Yep.
And
not a great match, but it's the culmination of
5-star ending.
Story.
Yeah, 5-star ending.
It's a great. It's something that started. You got to think this started in September with McMahon's master plan. Mm-hmm. This is Attitude Era story. Okay, McMahon's master plan was to strip Austin of the title 3.5 months later, it ends with 3 pay-per-views, 14 Raws. Like, come on. That writing, man. That fucking writing.
And this whole Survivor Series, I know it's a tournament style, but they made it a whole storyline, and we're gonna expose the ending. It's a swerve. We're gonna swerve you.
And you know what's funny about this? What started out as I don't want Austin to win the title. This pay-per-view was all about I want Mankind to win the title.
Yeah.
They changed the narrative.
Yeah.
It was I don't like The Rock, I don't like Austin, but that was not really mentioned. Like they mentioned how McMahon doesn't want these guys to win, but the big mentions was that McMahon is making it so that Mankind wins the match.
Yeah, well, he can control Mankind.
Yeah, but that was the whole story wasn't I want to screw you over. The whole story was I'm going to make you the winner, which was different for this era because that was not something that really was told at this time.
Yeah, and they had a long match for Mankind having so many matches on. Well, both of them had a lot of matches on the card. 17 minutes they get.
Another like no disqualification kind of style too, with like the chairs and the stairs and the table spots.
They bust both tables. The Spanish announce table.
You got Jax Teller over there.
I don't know. We got a Terminator coming on the bike. The Spanish announce table spot was pretty awesome.
That was a good spot.
Yeah, The Rock moves and Mankind just busts through it, and even Shane, they get a Shane McMahon spot where like this guy's nuts.
Yeah.
A lot of chairs. It turned into a no disqualification match between The Rock and Mankind.
Which is something that we see because all their matches, right?
Yeah.
Halftime Heat, Royal Rumble, a ladder match on Raw. These guys had tons of just brutal matches that, like, I think the only time that they had a regulation straight up match was when Mankind beat them for the title. Like, I can't think of it. Oh, and at Rock Bottom the following month. Otherwise, these guys, Survivor Series and all those other matches, these guys went to war.
Yeah.
The fact that Mankind doesn't have CTE showing right now blows my mind.
There's a spot where The Rock is attacking the Mankind while Mankind has the stairs on top of him. He's hitting him
with the chair, bomb.
Yeah, it just looks vicious and it sounds all crazy.
But you know that like he's got like that imprint of the stair is not actually touching him.
Yeah.
It's just the sound of it's probably hurting The Rock more for the reverberations of the metal on metal.
Yeah.
Like it probably hurts Rock more than it hurts Mankind, right?
Yeah. I could see that. Like I said, fantastic match. And it ends like Ryan mentioned. We get a screw job of sorts. The Rock locks in the sharpshooter.
He hits him with a rock bottom and a people's elbow. Mankind kicks out of both, and they're both just kind of laying there. And The Rock looks at Mr. McMahon, gives him the eyebrow, which was the eyebrow that he gave to the Nation when they jumped for Root. He gives Mr. McMahon the eyebrow, locks in the sharpshooter, and I thought, if I'm gonna nitpick one thing on this finish, positioning, I wish Mankind grabbed the rope. That would be it, though. Because Mankind was right underneath the rope to the point where he could have grabbed it. And then it's like, well, he's grabbing the rope, ring the bell. But he's holding the rope. Why are you ringing the bell? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That would, just because of where they were in the ring. But still, the idea of the swerve to have Mankind get locked in and it's a screw job finish again. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, especially it being how many years removed? 2 years removed? 1 year removed?
Yeah, the screw job was 97. This was 98.
Okay. Well,
yeah, McMahon went hard in the paint. He's like, the screw job got us ratings. Let's do it again.
Yep.
Every year.
Blatantly do it. Every year.
Screw job, every Survivor Series. They won't see it coming.
Yeah. Natalia Hart, all right, we're going to fucking
We're gonna screw over.
We need to
Shawn
do-
Michaels got a daughter? No, a niece.
Come on, let's go. Yeah, does Sean have a niece?
Yeah. What's Sean doing? Screw
Yeah.
it. We'll put Sean in there. He's old. He's like just like an old man fighting a woman. Come on.
Yeah, let's do it. Back to the Attitude Era.
And they cut a promo after the match.
For
The Rock and the McMahons. They cut that promo about right after The Rock wins the title. They get to grab the microphone and they're talking about this and that other thing. And Mankind gets the mic and goes, now, Dad.
Yeah, damn.
I'm a little confused because I didn't submit, but I lost the match. And then McMahon, I forget what he says, but it's like, well, it goes something like this. And The Rock just pops him in the back with the title and starts whooping ass. And all of a sudden, from out at the Skull comes Austin.
Yeah.
And all fucking hell break. Like they get into a back and forth, and Austin hits the stunner, and he picks up the title. He looks at it, and he just walks over to the rope and just fucking chucks it at The Rock. And I'm telling you, that's homage to Bret Hart, man. I'm telling you, when Bret Hart was screwed and he walked over to the ropes and spat at McMahon,
Yeah.
the way that Austin walked over to the ropes and just threw the title, I swear to you, that was 100% their way of, I don't want to say sticking it to Bret, but like continuing that something happening, especially on that side of the ring.
Hey, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right. Let's do it.
We're gonna alter a lot of it, but keep a lot of it the same.
Yeah, keep the spirit of it.
Exactly. Yeah, they would have been better if Austin threw the title and just like wrote in letters "fuck you" or something instead of WCW, or like, use the middle finger to write Stone. Like, just do something like 316 or like, it would so been perfect. Then he's fucking turns down stuns Mankind and just stands there alone in the ring. Fucking great wrap up to the pay-per-view.
Yeah, awesome wrap up to the pay-per-view.
Now you got the corporate champion, which no one knew, no one saw coming. The Rock is going to go. The Rock's going to go from red hot to fucking like blue hot. Like, he's going to blow up in these next
this corporate
4
heel.
months.
Yeah, this corporate heel run's going to be awesome for him.
Like, his run in December leading up to Rock Bottom is good. His matches in January with Mankind are fantastic. He does have surgery, and that's why you see him wrestle in the tracksuit. That because he was covering up surgery scar, the bandages and shit.
On his tits.
And then obviously leading into WrestleMania with Stone Cold.
Mm-hmm. The Great Stone Cold versus The Rock.
Yeah, and it started in '97, those two, and it was dormant in '98. But here we go.
All right, Ryan. Well, that was the pay-per-view. I had a blast watching it, talking about it.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to next week's episode. I don't know what we're gonna do, but I'm already looking forward to it.
We'll figure something good.
Yeah. Anything else before we get out of here, Ryan?
Obviously, I won't be here on Friday to record. And for those of you that don't know, Friday is going to be the 15-year anniversary of Eddie Guerrero passing. So, I encourage everyone to go back and watch this pay-per-view that we just broke down, but also take some time this week to watch some Eddie. Like, go back. Me and Raph did an episode. Looked that one up. Gone Way Too Young.
Mm-hmm.
15 fucking years. Can't believe it's that fast already. I remember sitting down at the computer and going to WWE.com and the news was right on the main screen. It was just like out of body experience when I saw it. And yeah, man, here we are now, 15 years later, his legacy lives on. Go back, watch some of his matches, appreciate him, and smoke a bowl, raise a drink, do whatever you got to do, but honor Eddie this coming Friday.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure that Something to Wrestle is doing something this week for Eddie as also.
I think they were doing the Eddie Guerrero episode, no?
Yeah, I think they are doing it this week. If I remember they talked about it. Like a couple months ago, like their lineup.
Mm-hmm.
But then some things got fucky along the way. But their plan was for this week to do the Eddie Guerrero episode. So hopefully that stays intact.
Yeah, it should be a good one.
Tissue's ready.
Yeah. If you guys haven't by now, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for weekly episodes where me and Ryan break down WWE or WCW. On Mondays, go ahead and check out Football on Full Heel, where my buddy Frankie and my other fraternity brother Jose, they break down and talk about soccer, football, La Liga, Messi, CR7.
Shit on Ronaldo.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Stop being a hater, Frankie.
And on Saturdays, you can find us talking shit and watching fights. We watch the UFC, break down fights, have fight companions. Me and my buddies try to break down and give you our thoughts on what's going on with the fights. So please go ahead and subscribe. Hit that notification button that we get notifications when we go live for Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So, like I said, we're putting out content. We're putting out a lot of content. Please go ahead and subscribe to all the platforms, Podbean, Stitcher, iTunes, YouTube, all that good stuff. And join us on our Facebook groups. And go ahead and hit up that Twitter, where you can find me and Ryan on there.
Yeah, I gotta get back on Twitter. I haven't used Twitter in, feels like 35 years. It's been a long time.
Get on it, Ryan.
I gotta get back on it. I gotta start helping you promote this shit more, man.
Yeah. I love all you guys, and we will see you guys next week here on the Full Heel Podcast. I love you. Peace out and goodbye.